Can you people see the screen? Okay. So today we shall see some of the basic commands. So in the previous class, we had already seen about the path variable. We had seen about the type command, right? So we are already familiar with the command structure. I still repeat, it begins with the command name. This percentage, we call it as prompt, right? So followed by prompt is the name of the command. Followed by it, you have options, and then you have arguments, right? So we are also aware that the options are usually prefixed by making use of hyphen, single hyphen, or sometimes we can also make use of double hyphens, right? And there are varieties of commands. For example, some commands may not take options at all, right? And some commands may take options and leave away the arguments. And some commands which only accept arguments, and a set of commands that take both arguments as well as options, right? So we have four different ways of writing a command, correct? So operands, basically the arguments part could be the actual data itself or could be the name of the file on which the command is supposed to work. Okay. So to begin with the commands, the very first command that we are supposed to be familiar with is man, right? So if you know how exactly this man command works, then it's almost like you know everything in Unix, right? So what is the importance of this man command? Okay. So we already know that Unix is offering us the online help facility, right? So which is rendered to us with the help of this man command. Okay. So man displays the documentation, often what we call it as man documentation, right? So it is going to display man documentation for each and every command that runs on the Unix system, right? So this man documentation contains information about all the commands, the various different system calls, right? The library functions and other configuration files too. Okay. So for example, if I want to know more about a WC command, then what I can key in on the prompt is man followed by the name of the command, that is WC. Okay. So we can see it with the help of the Cocal simulator. So for example, I want to look into what exactly is the meaning of WC command. So in that case, I can type in a command man. Is the screen visible to you people?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Cocal C isn't visible.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will key in a command man WC. So what you can see here is the man command is displaying us the very first page of the WC command, right? So here what you can see is WC is a command that helps us to count the number of words, the number of bytes, as well as the number of new lines that exist in each of these files, right? So as soon as we run man WC command, what happens is the entire man page for WC is dumped on the screen, right? So here what we can see is only the first page. See here, man page WC of 1. So only the first page of the WC command is being displayed to us, right? So you can make use of pages like more or less in order to scroll either downwards or upwards in the man page. So you'll have to make use of this pager, that is more or less, along with the command, along with the man command when you key it into the prompt, right? So this man page, what you are able to see on the screen, is divided into number of compulsory and optional sections, right? So every command does not have to have all these sections in it, but the first three, that is the name, the synopsis, and the description, what you can see in red letters here, right? Name, synopsis, and description are seen in all the man pages. Okay, so the name here is going to represent a one line introduction to the command. Okay, so it exactly tells what is the meaning of this command. Okay, so then you have description. So this, sorry, you have synopsis, right? So this synopsis is nothing but the syntax of how it's a syntax representing how exactly this command is to be written, right? Or it is to be used. Okay, and the third part is the description, which is often largest section in the page, right? Whereas it provides us a detailed description about the command, right? So now let us examine the synopsis part of this command WC. So what we see here is we see that the name of the command is WC and option is enclosed within a set of rectangular brackets, right? Followed by it, we have three dots. These dots are also, they also play a significant role here. And then followed by it, we have file, which is also again within a set of rectangular brackets followed by three dots, right? So here, if a command's argument is enclosed in a rectangular bracket, then we say that it is optional. That is, it may be recorded, or sometimes it may also be eliminated, right? Otherwise out, if these rectangular brackets are not mentioned, then it says that it's compulsory to specify the options for the commands, right? Please don't get confused between the words option and optional and compulsory. When I say options, I mean to say various different set of options that the command is going to accept, right? So you can see here in the man page, -C, -L, -M, these are all nothing but the options that a command is going to take, right? So then what you can see here is man page for WC shows that all of its arguments are enclosed in the rectangular bracket. After it, we have ellipses, that is these three dots, right? So these three dots imply that there can be more instances of the preceding word. So preceding word. So what do we mean here is options are within the rectangular bracket, so you may use them or may not use them. And in case if you use them, these three dots say that you can make use of more than one option to it. Are you understanding? ellipses indicate that I can make use of more than one option in the command. So similarly, file. After file, also you can find three dots which say that I can make use of this wc command on multiple files. That is, multiple files can be given as the input to this wc command, right? So have you understood the structure of this wc command? Have you people understood the structure of this wc command? Okay, so I hope you people have understood it. So now, so WC has a various set of options here. So if I say WC minus C, then it is going to print the byte counts. Okay, and if I say minus M, WC minus M, then it is going to print the number of characters in the input, right? So when I say WC doesn't accept the files as the arguments, I mean to say that it is going to work directly onto the input string that you have fed through the standard input there, right? That is, if you give WC followed by some statements, it will directly count how many words exist. How many words exist in the line there. Okay. Okay. So then, what exactly is the significance of the man page? We'll understand. If we want to understand more about the man page itself, then what we can do is we can simply key in a command man followed by man, right? So here again you can see the first page of the man command has name, has synopsis, has description. So these are the various ways in which you can make a call to the man command, right? So you can give a man command as man followed by its options followed by whatever is the command that you want to search for, right? So what is the meaning of man command? It's an interface to systems reference manual. So you can just imagine the man page to be offering you a set of help, right? So if you are not aware of any of the commands, you can simply make use of man command to find more about the given commands. The commands could be like ls, cat, etc. Okay. So please remember, if I want to find out the details of any of the commands, then I will make use of the man command. Okay. So if you want to know more about the man command itself, then you are going to key in the command man followed by a blank space followed by man there. Okay. So then we move on to the next command, that is password. Okay. So what exactly is password? Why do we need it? So you people might be remembering, so whether it be your Google account, you set a username and a password to it, right? So similarly in the labs, you might have observed that there are users to the system, separate users are created, and for every user you have a password, right? So you need this password in order to log in into a system, right? So in case in case if you want to change the user's password, right? So if you want to change the user's password, then the command for doing it is nothing but passwd, right? So this command is going to help you change the user's password. Okay. So you have seen uh, like whenever you key in a wrong password, it is the system is going to prevent you from getting an access to it, right? So therefore, it becomes compulsorily necessary for you to change the password, right? So in case if your account does not have a password at all, or it has one that is already known to others, then it becomes necessary for you to immediately change it. So how you are going to do it is you are going to make use of the command password, right? So here, as soon as I key in the command password, it is going to ask you to change the password. Okay, so I shall show it to you with the help of the simulator here. See, as I'm not the owner of this simulator, right? So let us see what exactly happens when I key in the command passwd. So it is asking me to change the password for the user, but I exactly don't know what is the current password to it. But still I shall key in the password as user. See here. So as I am not the owner of this simulation, what it shows is authentication token manipulation error, and I am not permitted to change the password of it, right? So I have a locked account. So when I say I have a locked account, I do not have an authority to change its password. Okay, so how exactly this command passwd works? So if I want to find out more about it, what should I be doing? Can anybody tell me what is the command that I'm supposed to key in if I want to know more about the command passwd?
Man password.
Yes, exactly. So type in man password. So can you see here? The name passwd stands for changing the user password, right? So the syntax here is it takes options. So options may be given or may not be given, right? So along with it, you can specify the name of the user who is logged in into the system. Okay. So here again, uh, you can the name of the user who is logged in into the system could be optional or could be provided here, right? So what does the description of this command tell us? So the password command is used to change the passwords for the user accounts, right? So a normal user may only change the password of his own account, but not the entire system's account. So if you want to change the password for the entire system, then it can happen only if you are a super user, right? So there are two different types of users here. A normal user, you can just imagine him to be the guest to the system, whereas a super user is nothing but you can imagine him to be the administrator who has the sole control of the system there, right? So here, so every password has its validity period, right? So maybe for a week or maybe for a month or so, right? So there are a set of options that can be used with the command password here. So if I make use of -a, then this option says that it can be used only with -s option, which shows the status for all the users, right? So what is the meaning of -s here? So when I give -s option, it is going to give me the status information of every user there, right? So this status information in itself has 7 fields. So the first field is the user's login name, right? So it is going to tell us who is the user, how many users are existing in the system. And the second field can have multiple values. It may either have a L in it may have NP in it, or it may have P in it, right? So if the second field's value is L, then it says that the user's account is having a locked password. So as it happened with us there, we cannot change the password of the system there, right? So it's a locked password. And sometimes if you get the status to be NP, it means that the user has not set the password at all, right? And then if you get P, then the user has set the usable password there, right? And the third field in the status is going to display us the last date or the date when the password was lastly changed, right? And the last field is nothing but, and the last field that is going to appear would be the would be either be the minimum age or the maximum age period of for the password, right? So let us see how exactly this minus s works. Minus s option. Why didn't we get an option to change the password? So pass wd minus capital S. So can you see the output on the screen here? The name of the user is user, but the type of the account is L here. So the type of the account L says that it's a locked password and we cannot change it. Is it understood? So basically, password is a command which is used to change the password of an account, right? So it is nothing but it's a program which is asking you to key in at least 6 characters in a password such that 2 of them are alphabets, one is a number, and the others could be some special characters in it. But see to that, a password can never have a command as a part of it, right? It cannot have the dictionary words into it, right? So depending upon the privileges, that is, you are just a normal user or you are a super user, one can change his user's name as well as user's password as well as the group's password also. Okay. So, and we have seen if you want to know more about the command password, then we are going to key in the command man password. I hope you people have understood how exactly password works. So we move on to the next command here, that is date. Okay, so if I want to know what exactly is the date, right, current date, then I will make use of the command called as date there. Okay, so let us move on to Cocal. Let us key in the command date. So today's date is September 12, right? Am I correct? September 12 and today is Saturday, right? So date command is going to give us the current date. So here, want to know more about the date command? So then man date, right? So here it is going to print or set the system date and time. So it is starting with the command name date, it has options and then it has formats to it, right? So here you can see a set of formats here that can be used along with the date. So now let me say I want to find out which weekday is it, right? So in that case I shall key in percentage a, right? So percentage A should be displaying me just the abbreviated weekdays name. Okay. So put here, so date percentage A. Oh. percentage A itself. Just a minute.
Ma'am, is the option necessary to be put, like, you have to put option there? Is it necessary?
We'll just check it out in the man page. See, option is not necessary there. I can just simply give a date. It is going to print me the entire thing there. It is going to give us the current date and time. Right. So it
Ma'am,
is,
but before inserting like format,
yeah. Yeah, before inserting format, what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to append a symbol plus there. We
okay.
had seen an option percentage A, right? Let us see how exactly it works. So before I make use of the option percentage format percentage A there, we'll have to append a symbol plus followed by percentage A. This should be working. Yes. So if you see here, it is giving us the abbreviated version of the weekday, that is SAT, right? So similarly, we had an option called as percentage, we had a format called as percentage capital A, right? So it was supposed to give the complete name of the weekday, right? So let us check it. So percentage capital A is giving us the complete name of the weekday, correct? So here, similarly, if I want to know which month exactly are we into, so I can key in date plus, this time the format string here, I shall put it as small m. So small m stands for month, right? So we are in September, so it is giving the numerical value of it, that is 09, right? So if I want to display the name of the month, then I will make use of the date command followed by plus percentage. So this time, if I want to know the name of the month, I will give one format as percentage H. So you can see here the name of the month is September. So if I want both the name of the month uh, as well as I want to display its numerical value, that is the numerical value of the month, then here I can combine both the formats into single command. So how can we do it is type the command date, then a single plus is sufficient this time because we are combining. So within a set of double quotes, we are going to write percentage H, a blank space, and percentage M. Close the set of double quotes because we have written sufficient formats there, and then hit an enter. So if you can see the output screen here, so it is giving us the abbreviation of the current, the abbreviated name of the current month along with the numerical value of the current month here, right? So there are other format specifiers also that can be used with this command date. So if you want, you can make a note there. You can make use of the format specifier percentage %D. So percentage %D shall be returning you the date of the month, right? And percentage %Y shall be returning the last 2 digits of the year. Please make a note of all these things. You too can work on CoCal, find out all these options, right? So then you can make use of format specifiers %H, capital H, %capital M, and %capital S. So it is going to give you the hours, minutes, and seconds respectively, right? And if you make use of %D, then it will give you the date in the format MMDDYY. Okay, and %capital T, it is going to give you the time in the format hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, so then the next command that we are going to see is cal. So cal stands for calendar, right? So if I want to find out the current month, right? So what I will do is, let us say, just give cal. So what's happening here? When I give the input as the command cal, it is displaying us the current month's calendar here, right? So in case if I want to know about the year 2003, so then I shall give it as cal 2003. So you can see here, this is the calendar for 2003, right? So then if I want to find out the calendar for a particular month in a particular year, then this can also be done with the help of the cal command. So for example, I can give here, I can give the command cal. I want to find out about March. So let me give it as 3 in the year 2003. So are you understanding it? So it means that the cal command may take options and arguments, right? It may not take the options as well as arguments, right? And it may just take an option also, right? Okay. So if I give cal of 0, then it is going to show me an error, right? You cannot give 0 as an argument to the cal command. So any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? Okay. So if no doubts, then we shall look into the other topics in the next session. So see, when we are talking about commands, please make a note of it, right? And then try working on it. If you have Unix installed in your system, well and good. If you do not have Unix, then you can make use of CoCal C, see the working of it. Okay? Okay then. No doubts, we shall end the meeting. You people can exit.